Well, today we're going to talk a bit of politics. Divided, we stand. United we stand and divided we fall. What am I talking about? Well, today we all saw the president going to file his nomination, and all the NDC came together showing one united front. Everyone who mattered was there singing with one voice. And like magic, like coincidence, this morning we hear the MPP General Secretary on radio absolutely lamenting of how the flag bearer is sidelining him and driving off without him, and monies of the company, monies of the party who no one can account for, no one who knows how to spend, and all this going on. And it makes you just wonder what is happening where one party, the two parties, one so united, the other so very much divided. Well, tonight we put on a very explosive panel for you. We're going to have Sir John and Kwaku Anidoho, but somehow Sir John is on his way and hasn't got in yet. We will start the show with the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Kwaku Anidoho, and hopefully Sir John will join the show later. My name is Nanan Sakwaw, and this is PM Express. Well, thank you very much for staying, and very interesting topic today. United we stand, divided we fall. We're talking about the two major political parties here. How the NDC is united and indeed showing a united front, and the NPP is divided and showing a divided front. And with me to first time, but we always charge, so you're welcome to the show. We're talking to Kwaku Anidoho, who's the Deputy General Secretary for the NDC. Brother, was it a deliberate ploy for your party to say, something, let's go out there and really show this united front, to rub it in the face of the NPP?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. And like you said, it's the first time. Stephen Auntie has been trying to get me, but well, greetings to your viewers. Well, we had this plan, from the point where His Excellency the President met with the old guards of the party at the Flagstaff House towards the tail end of last week. Then His Excellency the Vice President picked up nomination forms on behalf of the President last Thursday. And then on Sunday, the President decided to meet the Functional Executive Committee of the party, show of matured leadership, to inform us officially that today he will be filing his nominations personally. And so I'm sure it's just sheer coincidence that today's show of solid unity, or a solid show of united front, is coinciding with the MPP's continuous fractious agenda. Of course, I listened to the General Secretary of the MPP this morning on one of the networks, and he was livid. I mean, kind of sounding very angry, because apparently he's abroad, and he says he's been trying to contain.
We'll get there. Okay. Yeah, we'll get there. But
to the point whether it was deliberate. It wasn't deliberate. Let's just say that we had our plan, doing what we were doing. Theirs coincided with ours, and of course, for us as a political party, if you ask me, the advantage swims well with us.
The other thing which people find amusing is when this gentleman, Mr. Boateng, decided to file for presidency. I mean, all the rank and file got up and said, no way, nobody's running against the president, to the point where even the guy who supposedly issued this form, gets kicked out. I mean, now that's one,
all over the world, Nana, democracy is not allowed to fly on unmanaged wings. Any attempt to allow democracy to fly on unmanaged wings results in chaos. And we are a new executives, and we said that, look, discipline must be the thread that runs to our administration. Yes, we have guidelines for selection of candidates, both at the parliamentary level and at the presidential level. Yes, nobody is stopping anybody from picking up forms, but you ought to do it per the rules of the game. But while we are telling you that, yes, it's open for you to pick forms, we are also telling you that as executives, we are not politically unwise. We are politically alert. We are not about to commit political suicide. And so we are telling you that, look, President Mahama, as the current leader of the party, has the massive endorsement and backing of those of us who are in the executive. Yes, nothing stops you. Come and pick, all right, but you won't get our endorsement because it's only, what, 14 months to the election, 15 months to the election. With political suicide to try and change the leader, especially when he is shown enough commitment to leading the party up a certain path that we all accept. Yes, there are bumps, hurdles along the road, but hey, we believe that President Mahama is doing a good job, and so why not? So can't pick the form, yes, but like J.H. Mensah said, I think in the run-up to the 2008 election, when 17 people wanted to take over from President Kufuor, he said, check your own. So check yourself if you think you want to come and contest President Mahama.
Let me take a quick break here and I'll come back. Don't move, but my question I am going to ask when I come back is that when I heard it from one source that, the NDC won't win power, but the NPP is not going to come into power either. Is that what is happening, that there isn't actually a strong opposition, so hey, let them just sail through? Don't move, we're coming straight back. Well, united we stand, divided we fall, and as I said in my intro, we have now the former General Secretary of the NPP now joining us. Sir John, you're welcome. Very good, very good. My question just before we went on the break, and that was to Kweku, was that the NDC will not win power, but the NPP won't come into power. Mainly, not necessarily that the NDC is doing well, but there isn't any opposition to hand over to, so you might as well just carry on.
Well, that's very academic exercise, and that person is entitled to his or her line of thoughts. But yes, we actually are not, giving ourselves medals because of the confusion in the NPP. Because actually, we are very much aware that for the simple fact that the NPP is in smithereens, it's not a perfect guarantee to a victory in 2016. Hence, the continuous attempt and effort to stick to our manifesto pledges of expanding infrastructure, creating an economy that is acceptable, investing in people, hence the attempt to give free SHS in some proportions at a certain level, the heavy investment in road infrastructure, hospitals, schools. I mean, we've started with the University of Health and Allied Sciences is almost done, but it's done. The keys were handed over to the regional minister. So we are saying, that look, yes, in as much as the NPP people are suffocating, it's not a guarantee. So we will still stay glued to making sure that we can give the electorate enough of what they want, not all, because it's impossible to guarantee all, enough of what they want so that in 2016 they can go to the polls and say, hey, yes, look at the NPP, look at the NDC, look at Mr. John Dramani Mahama, look at Mr. Nana Akufo-Addo, and then give the mandate to the NDC to continue.
Mr. Kweku Owusu-Afriyie, Sir John, what's happening to the NPP? And I know there's bickering in any society, even in homes, there are misunderstandings. But I think you're now taking it to a different level. I mean, with the outburst of the General Secretary this morning on radio, what's happening to the party?
Oh, well, nothing is happening. I'm so happy that our party is doing very well.
Really?
Yes, we are.
Well, what would you have done if you're not doing well?
Yes, we're doing very well. The flag bearer is, he's begun, this rise and build tour, so it's been very, very exciting. It's been to the Volta region where we have had, been well received. Now we are in the eastern region. So as some of the things that the NDC would have wished, happening to us, it's unfolding. we are focused. And that is my joy. The flag bearer is focused, and the people that he's meeting, the party people, the rank and file, those grassroots, have assured him and the entire party that they are prepared to rise and build. And that is what is important. The rest are all inconsequential.
No, but it's not a very attractive party to join. I mean, I don't know if you listened to Kwabena Japan this morning.
What did he say?
Well, number one, he says that anytime he's made an attempt to get close to the flag bearer, he's been brushed off. 3 occasions, he cited 3 examples where he's driven to the house, they've left him. One, he actually went to wait by the roadside, they drove past.
The way that you speak reminds me of the way that Kwabena speaks, and I love the way that you put it. But you see, look, one doesn't have to follow the flag bearer wherever he goes. Indeed, Kwabena is the general secretary of our party, and as a general secretary, he has a lot on his hands to execute.
No, but he's saying that he's been sidelined.
I've been a general secretary before, so he has a lot to do. The chairman, also has his own programs to articulate, and therefore, for me, there is no point in following the flag bearer wherever he is, assuming that is what Kwabena is saying. But I believe that that's not what he's saying. I've seen Sidin Katia and Koku not following John Mahama to wherever he goes, in spite of the fact that he's the president of this country. So I'm not sure he's going to complain that, well, I'm not able to follow President John Dramani Mahama when he went to Kintampo, and therefore that's where I'm coming. I hail from. So I'm worried. It's not. Indeed, what I have seen is to the contrary. Kwabena is very close to Nana Akufo-Addo. Indeed, some of us are Latter-day Saints. Kwabena was, even long before us, he was the campaign manager for Nana Akufo-Addo. You understand? And so they have a very close, bond, that moves them along. I have seen places where Akufo-Addo, goes to, and he would want to wait until Kwabena comes, and he beckons him, Kwabena, come and sit in my car. Then they talk, and they ride in the same vehicles, so on and so forth. So what binds them seems to me, to be, bigger than whatever that anybody's talking about. Look, I've heard some examples that they gave that, Nana Akufo-Addo say traveling to the eastern region, the general secretary rings and say, all right, Nana, I'll join you. But I'm driving, say, towards Pantan or Yarefa. So when you get there, we all move on. And they are driving the convoy. Don't forget that they are driving the convoy. And therefore, you always have a lead car, some 2 other maybe security cars. You have Nana Akufo-Addo's vehicle, assuming that that's the order. And then some other cars following. And so as soon as they get there, and they are driving, along the high road, obviously, maybe the lead car is not aware of any such thing. So they zoom on. All it takes is for, say, my car to join, the convoy, and we move on. As soon as we get to, say, Kofodia, where you are going to go, and you're all alight, the general secretary obviously goes to sit close to the flag bearer, in spite of wherever his car was. The security people and others would all, retire to the background, and the general secretary and the flag bearer, who gets on very well, who would be seen, to be, interacting. And then if it is about leading a delegation to go and greet chiefs, the general secretary would be there in the front queue, to lead the flag bearer. So I cannot, it's much ado about nothing. The fuss that is being made and the emphasis that the press appears to be enjoying and Koku and others are enjoying, it's a much ado about nothing.
No, Sir Joe, don't push this on us. This is what your general secretary said.
He wouldn't say that. Kwabena would not say that.
Oh, no.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
I heard him.
Yes.
Oh, I heard him.
Yes.
But I was in the village. So
I heard him too.
But what is important?
He was literally lamenting.
No, but you see, I can sometimes understand where these things are leading. But what Kwabena seems to be saying is the fact that he is prepared to work his socks out to get the victory that Ghanaians want us to have. Because Ghanaians won't change in 2016. And that is what Kwabena also wants. And that's what Paul Afoko wants and all the executives want. I have not seen anybody who wants to do anything other than winning as power. Because it will be nice on Kwabna's CV. You see, this larger than life attitude of Basiri Ketia and Koku and others. That it's all because they've won power, and so it's gotten to them. You know, they've got one power. So
let me ask one question before. Let me ask one question. Sir John, we've seen your tenure. We saw your tenure in office, and admittedly, anyone admitted there wasn't this much bickering and enmity and division. There wasn't that during your tenure.
Look, let me tell you something. Mine was...
Unless you hid it.
No, mine was the village type. You know, those of us from the village, we have a way of, you know, dealing with matters. And if you have the intellectual, you know, types, you know, like Koku and others, they also have their own style. And so...
Koku, you're in trouble today.
Yes. You see, they have their own style, as opposed to those of us from the village. We have a way of dealing with some of these things. Some of these things, maybe... Look, Reagan said something that is crucial. He said, if you're a politician, you don't have to answer criticisms at all times. Because if you do, you open yourself for further criticisms. And therefore, it is prudent that as a politician, you know, because there are a lot of things that were said about me. Said John doesn't know how to talk, said John is this, he's loose cannon, and so on and so forth. I heard all these things, but it did not matter to me, because what was important to me was to take the fight to the NDC. And that is what I did, you know, and that was what I enjoyed doing. And so my view is that, and it's to our new executives and to all of us as politicians, we need to be very careful. Look, as Koku says here, there are a lot of people who are not for him. They say all sorts of things against him. The other time I read about the fact that some Volta region people were trying to get rid of him because he allegedly did not support John. But that is not true, because I know Kwaku, he supports John true and true and true. And yet there are people out there, but I'm not sure it got to him, because he knew that that is the politics of the day. So I would urge our own party people to emulate some of these things, because the Bible even has a very instructive, thing to say about that. It says, thou sluggard, go to the ant, consider her ways and be wise. There are things that the NDC does that for me, we ought to emulate. And I believe that even at their party's manifesto, the party's constitution, there are so many of the things that they stole from us, and some of them that I volunteered for them to be able to help them to move their party in the right direction. We ought also to look at some of the things that they do. Look, I'm sure that it's not, Kofi Adams is trying to get over his job. George Lawson, that deputy secretary who was third or second after Koku, they all are trying to, make it look like they are the general secretary. But it's not, they've taken it cool. So I would urge that we should take it easy. The flag bearer has a program that is executed. The executives, led by the national chairman and the general secretary, Kwabna, they should also have a program. Look, we have a presidential campaign to run, and then we have a parliamentary campaign to run. The party's duty is to ensure that the parliamentary process is well oiled and well grinded. They should do that instead of somebody trying to follow the presidential train, because there are two different campaigns altogether. And I would wish that our party does that. And I tell you, Kwabna means very well. Paul means very well. They want to win the 2016 elections.
I'll come back to you.
For them.
I'll come back to you, but they're not communicating it to their party properly. I'll come back to you. But Koku, once upon a time, the NDC also went through the Fonka Games division.
Oh, they are still there.
I want to find out how you patched it, because even if it's there, it's behind the scenes and they're not showing it. But let's hear the insert of what the president said about this one-touch victory.
Oh, he said that again? Yep. Today? Yes.
Continue in the footsteps of my great predecessors, Jerry John Rawlings and Professor John Iwan Sakamils, and that I will do everything possible, materially, physically, spiritually, to ensure that I lead this party again into a one-touch victory.
One-touch victory. So, Kogu,
Yes,
my question, how did you move from the Fonka Games division to one-touch victory where you're showing this united front?
Leadership. No, leadership. President Mills, may his soul rest in peace, magnanimous in victory and asking us, look, don't take the stick and hit the head of the other side. We've gone to Congress in Sunyani. I've won massively. Why spend too much time, going after them? And I remember personally picking a phone and calling one guy in the Volta region, one of the Fonka boys, who apparently claimed he joined Fonka because of me, because I had neglected him. And I said, look, this game is over. If it's because of me you joined Fonka, I apologize. Come back, let's work. The gentleman was shocked. And of course, he came back and he worked. So it's about leadership and showing, magnanimity in victory. And that's what helped. That, look, President Mills was not going to go after the little things, that were disturbing him. I have my mandate, massively so. Let me support the cause of the party, stay glued to my Better Ghana agenda, investing in people, building a strong and resilient economy, governing in an open, honest, and transparent manner, and changing the face of governance. It's the same thing President Mahama is doing. Yes, Sir John is not wrong if he says that the NDC has its own little pockets of challenges. That is it, Cesar, such is life. But it's also about leadership. For me, at the secretariat level, for example, because the party constitution is very clear, the secretariat is run by the general secretary. The party chairman and the vice chairpersons are not part of secretariat. I'm sure it's the same thing that applies at your end as well. So let me talk specifically about the secretariat level. You have a general secretary who is so organized and is not fighting anybody. He's prepared to delegate. He's prepared to lead. He's prepared to instruct. He's prepared to guide. And where he must crack the whip, he will do so. At the FEC level, where you have the chairman and the vice chairpersons, we're exhibiting the same show of maturity. And so we're working together as a team. We're not prepared to hit at each other. At the presidency level also, that's exactly what President Mahama is doing. He can't pick forms. He sends Vice President, Misata, can you please do it on my behalf? Excellent camaraderie. And so we are not out, we are rather out to say, hey, why don't we stay in this thing together instead of fighting? So for me, this whole thing is about leadership. If Nana Akufo-Addo can show that kind of leadership, that look, I'm prepared to let go. I'm prepared to swallow and accommodate. Because when I listened to Kamene Japan this morning, this Volta region trip that my senior brother, Sir John, is talking about, according to the General Secretary of the party, it was his baby. He incubated it and passed on to Nana Akufo-Addo. Suddenly, delivery is taking place and there's an outdooring. And I, the person, who incubated this whole thing, I know nothing about it. Well, I won't say anything. Let it go. I'm in London, I'm abroad doing certain things. And then all over the places, like, I have deliberately run away from this embryo of mine and I'm out partying while others are struggling in labor. And he says, look, for how long can I continue to bear this pain? So today, I will speak, even though I'm just about jetting into Ghana, I will speak. I will wear my heart on my sleeves and let Ghanaians understand that, look, I am not the kind of bad person. And of course, it's specifically, clothed around this their fraudulent secret account that is now eating up, because how come a vice chairperson and a treasurer decide to log out the chairman of the party and the general secretary? And for the records, minus the signature of the general secretary, the flag bearer cannot file at the EC. That's how powerful the general secretary is, and he knows. Minus the signature of the general secretary, the flag bearer cannot file at the EC. That is why in this whole George something brouhaha, general secretary has to come out and make the point that nobody gives out presidential primary forms apart from me, unless I decide to delegate to my deputies. In this case, it's Deputy Anyidoho or Deputy Lawson. Otherwise, no, you don't joke with these things. And that's why the vice president had to pick the forms from the general secretary, and the president also, respecting the party structures. And he made that point succinctly clear this afternoon that, look, the party is supreme. And for me, as a servant of the party in the capacity of Deputy General Secretary, if my leader, and who is also the President of the Republic, can confess openly that the party is supreme, I am prepared to do everything and anything possible to support such a leader, because my sweat and toil is respected and it's not in vain. So if you have a leader who then decides to turn his back on the party, and excuse my language, to fart in the face of the party, then you're going to have all these problems that you're having. And at every point in time, the party is supreme, party first. It's about leadership.
Well, let me help Kwaku here. First of all, if you are talking about leadership, Nana Akufo-Addo, has demonstrated that he leads from the front. Indeed, he is a leader in whom you can trust. If these small infractions are to be deemed as failure on the part of leadership, then it seems to me that the fact that this country is in serious crisis is a failure of leadership. The fact that we have been under doomsday for the last 3 years, unprecedented in the history of this country, is about failure of leadership. And indeed, there has been a paralysis of leadership under John Dramani Mahama. You understand? But yet, here is Kwaku, who says, oh, the man is leading, he's the leader. But every failure, if indeed a failure of this small proportion should be attributable to Nana Akufo-Addo's lack of leadership, then it seems to me that the whole country under this mess is a failure of leadership, and that I cannot wait to change such incompetent leader in 2016. And so we should be very careful. But in terms of ours, if you look at our constitution, yes, Akufo-Addo is the leader of the party, but our party constitution does not give him the powers that, say, for instance, the president would have to hire and fire. He doesn't. So, and the party is run by its national chairman, with the general secretary as head of the administration, in charge of all the structures under him. That is what it is. So, as for Akufo-Addo's leadership, it is, say, for instance, ceremonial in terms of our constitutional provisions. So, if you don't understand it, Akufo-Addo cannot hire and fire. So, if the general secretary decides to do whatever he wants to do, it goes to National Executive Committee or to National Council. Akufo-Addo cannot and does not have that power to say, call this to order or call that person to order. But all he does,
he's busy trying to overthrow the chairman and the general secretary.
No, all he does is to try to get them on board, and he has done so expertly. And I'm very happy for the things that I know. You see, there are a lot of things that we don't want to talk about, and because my view was that because I did not even hear what Kobina said, so I am not even privy to the things that we're talking about. And therefore, but the fact of the matter is, Kobina is not even in this country to have joined the tour in the Volta region. So how could he, anybody claim that, oh, he had been sidelined when he's not even in this country? I am not part of the tour.
His issue was that there was a meeting before he traveled, and they didn't mention it.
So we must go to US and tell him, or what?
That is precisely this kind of comment that you are making is what is creating the friction and the divide.
There's no friction. There's no friction. It is much ado about nothing. And that's what I want to say. Look, if you are the general secretary of the party is yours. You understand? And I respect Kobina's views about so many things that he wants to get right and change the style that he inherited. I am for him. And we are all for him. And I can tell you, if there is anybody closer to Akufo-Addo, then Kobina Japan is. And so for me, whatever precipitated this, for me, it's a non-issue. But what is important is Akufo-Addo has embarked upon this very important tour, and he deserves our support.
It brings the general secretary's credibility in question, because when the steering committee matter happened, he swore blind that he was not in the know. Exactly. But in the end, it happened that he was told. Could it be the same situation that because Nitiwu said at the meeting, it was mentioned that they were going to Volta region, and he was present. Again, Kobina Japan comes and says, no, I didn't know about it. So, could it be?
That's precisely the point where now when they go for meetings, every little breath that comes out of somebody's nostril is recorded and put out. You see, because of this confusion that is going on. So everybody wants to come out with some recording of a sort, because yes, Kwabena saying, I know nothing about it. Nitiwul says, you know something about it. Victor Newman says, why are you out there having fun while we are here legging it out? Oh. What's his name? The Bossy chap, the MP, what's his name? Is it Enin? Kwatin, or one of them.
Two of us.
One of them is saying that the same thing, that you are partying while Rome is burning. And Kwabena is saying, for goodness sake, I'm not partying while Rome is burning. When I was leaving the country, there was no certain, even though this thing was my baby. Consistently, that's why he's giving you the trend. Consistently, you people have packed me out. I even go to the flag bearer's house, you pack me out. There's no way General Mosquito will drive to President Mahama's house and not have access to President Mahama. It won't happen in LDC.
Look, Bagman is on record to have said that he goes to John's house.
He's not the general secretary of the party.
Well, but he's driven out.
He's not the general secretary of the party.
A very senior person, even Kwabena J, had always at all times been refused entry to John's house. So these are not anything.
Kwabena J never said so anyway.
He has always been driven out. And quite recently, when people have stolen, brought some people from Togo to register, it was attributed to Kwabena J and Yabwatijan that they had come to tell us. So look, these are things that happen from time to time in these political parties. But I can tell you, Kwabena is doing so well. Kwabena means very well. Kwabena would deliver us victory in 2016. And I have no doubt at all in my mind about that. Because what else is he doing there? If you are general secretary and your duty is to take us to the promised land. And Kwabena, will do that. These small, elbowing, are to be expected. But on the very serious note, indeed, there is no money lost to the New Patriotic Party. There is no secret account having been created by anybody in this party. Because, I've been told that the General Secretary now agrees that indeed that account existed. It was an EcoBank account that I inherited from McMenu's time, and we through our notes, we handed it over to the General Secretary and to the National Treasurer of the party. They are aware that there is an account there and that it is not a secret account, nor is it a freshly opened account. It's an account that has been existing. So that issue that somebody is going to open a secret account and put money in and this and that, it's all false.
So when a vice chairperson, I can say that. Mr. John, when a vice chairperson, in the person of Freddie Blake,
yes,
is openly heard saying that this account is being run because the national chairman Paul Afoko and the general secretary Kwabena Japan have been squandering, and the operative word is squandering money from the original account.
Before you respond, let me take this. Let me take another speech on the Rise and Build tour.
In fact, the impression is created, say.
The impression is created that I traveled out of the country because I don't want to help Nanado. I was never told of the date for the tour. I even got to know about the start of the tour on the internet. I even suggested to him about 2 months ago to begin his tour from the Volta region. But we never decided on the date. This is a deliberate attack on my personality. To be frank, before I traveled, I tried to work together with the presidential candidate so he can win the general election. Even after the Circle flood and fire disaster, I had to call him and suggest to him that we visit the scene. But before I got to his residence, he had left. Recently, we had to go for a funeral. So I took the lead to wait for them on the Brew Road because I didn't want to be late. But they left me behind and I had to catch up upon all that I'm going through. Why is the impression being created that we want to sabotage the presidential candidate? Even the last press conference we organized at Alisa Hotel, it was not until the morning of the event that the chairman was informed.
Now, I know that many of you, understandably and quite rightly, are concerned about the things that are happening at the top of our party. I am very concerned about it. A clear decision in my mind that we're going to have to resolve those problems so that there can be peace in our party for us to be able to move our party forward. But as a beginning, The radio campaign in our party is not helping any of us. Mr. Samo, let us stop discussing MPP matters on the radio. Let us stop discussing MPP matters on the radio. On our to radio, Obia Muawa, Ebebu, Unko Kano be Kebia, Afin Ababayasam. Now Kebi, no be an Kebia. Asama Oko de Koyano, Ebebu, Mesamo, let's make a resolution. No more radio campaigns in the MPP. As I'm saying to you, the problems that have to be resolved.
No more discussing MPP matters on the radio.
And that is clear leadership. And look, I can tell you, since that injunction was placed from the morning, I have not heard one person who have flouted that order. Because you see, the fact of the matter is this, that, after today, nobody is going to talk about this matter tomorrow. Indeed,
I will talk about it.
What is interesting to me is the fact that we have one, is it George Watson, who have picked forms to contest the sitting president.
Oh,
and in politics, there's something that we call stalking horse. And I'll tell you what stalking horse is.
I know what it is.
Yes. And I'll tell you what. I want this guy to get even 4 votes. And he'll get that. And once we get that 4 votes, then you'll see the interpretation that we place on it. Look, John, and I'm happy, he said that the grassroots are suffering. It's only a few people, Kwaku and others, who don't see it. But the grassroots are suffering in spite of all the things that he's listed. And we did that in 2008. And you know what Don Mama told us? Says this is an exercise in mediocrity. If you say you've done roads, schools, built these hospitals and others, giving water. He says any government does these things, so you haven't done nothing. That's what Don Mama told us. We wait until 2016, let them come and then catalog all the things that they have said. And then they will hear what Ghanaians will tell them. Because this is a grassroots guy who is suffering. He cannot get the money to pay the children's school fees. He cannot even get 3 meals a day to eat. And his people are suffering. The people at the grassroots are suffering. And he lists corruption amongst the things that is bedeviled this government and this administration. He's an NDC guy. And so that is why they are afraid for him to get in. Look, to say that the man is mad. We had 17 people contesting in 2008. 2012, we had so many people contesting. 2013. And yet, we did not describe anybody as mad. One person picks up forms, and then he says he's mad. So, in effect, you are saying that nobody should contest John. But look, you know what they did to Claudia Rollins? In Sunyani, even when she was about to pick the forms, the way that they insulted her, they were preventing her from literally picking up forms. And the people who followed her, were all being made outcast in the NDC. Now they go to Sunyani. Even when she started to speak, the microphone were all straight off. Turned off completely. And then Claudia Rollins' voice could not be heard. Even on the ground, I was there. And you know what? And Asiedim Katia and others had to compose this song. Small girl, you don't know that thing. We are teaching you that thing. You are playing with that thing. All of a sudden, Claudia Rollins had become a small girl. You don't know the thing. Today, what is she? She had gone out to form her own political party. And you tell me that the NDC is all quiet there. It is not. Look, I tell you what. This guy would pull a surprise. He will beat John. So I'm very happy. If they are not afraid, let him contest. Why are they preventing him and say that they will not even accept his forms? What is it that they are afraid of? In your own party rules, your executives are not supposed to back anybody. You are supposed to be neutral. Why is Kwaku sitting here and saying that we have taken a decision, we support John? It is wrong, it is undemocratic, and I'm afraid the NDC would have to come to us and learn from us how these things are done.
I'm going to take, I'm going to,
any problem whatsoever.
I'm going to take a break here. To the contrary, is this unity what we're expecting to see in the MPP, whether it's legal or not? Stay tuned. We're coming back. Well, thank you very much for staying. United we stand, divided we fall. And Kuku.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just a little bit about the clip that you put out on Nana Akufo-Addo and his fatwa that nobody should discuss these issues on radio any longer. Fine fatwa. And I pray his party members respect it, because this fractious line they are towing is not good for democracy, and it's not sending the right signals. But if I recall, it was the same Nana Akufo-Addo, must have been 2009, 2010, thereabouts, when President Mills was still around. May his soul rest in peace. At a press conference at the Presby Hall in Osu, and then relating to the economy, and he said, look, if President Mills and his government, are saying that the economy is challenged, they should what? Fix it. Fix it. So all I'm saying, Nana Akufo-Addo, fix the problem in the MPP. You are the leader. Fix it and stop talking about it. Stop issuing fatwa saying people shouldn't go radio, because this is democracy. They are the ones who claim that they are the doyens of free speech and democracy. Now you are trying to gag people from airing their views on radio. Nana Akufo-Addo, there's a problem in your party. You admit it. Fix it.
Kogu, let me take it from here. I'll bring you in.
Kogu gets this wrong. Apart from anything at all, let me tell you something. John Dramani Mahama, will fix it about the Dumso. He went to church and promised that Dumso was going to banish darkness from our lives.
And it's still there. It's still there. So let me.
So we have told him that John Dramani Mahama fix the problem and stop passing on.
Kogu, let me pick you up from here. With regards to executive siding with one candidate where it's not allowed. Why?
Nobody say where in our constitution is not allowed. Why? Where is it? Where in our constitution? Which article says that it's not allowed for executives to side with a candidate?
Does it not become unfair for other ones?
Where unfairness means what? We say come and buy the form. Follow due process. But for me as an individual and as an elected executive, thinking straight, I'm not yet non-compos mentis. And I know that the challenge ahead is so heavy that going for another candidate will be political suicide. And I say, I am not ready to commit political suicide. So I support President John Dramani Mahama. There's nothing unconstitutional about it. It doesn't bar you, George Boateng, from coming, following process and picking your form and going around, because you must go around the 275 constituencies and pick signatures. Whether it will even be possible for you to get it is another matter altogether. So all we are saying is that we support our president and our current leader to go. Look at the red carpet treatment we rolled out for him today. Look at the unity. Young, old guards, new guards, there, beautiful. And we are saying that if we didn't learn anything at all from Talensi, we learned that unity is what gave us back our seat. Because in 2012, we were divided. They were united, and so they won Talensi. We came back home, did our homework, we went back to Talensi united, we won, they divided, with acid raining on them, they lost their seat. We say we are going into 2016, united for victory, being led by President Mahama, and we say, as executives, we will support it.
With the rush of people who are now coming in there, everybody vying for a parliamentary seat, would you still be able to hold things together, or because there's quite a number of people?
Well, at that level, yeah, it's quite a number of people. Some of it surprises me. Some of the names that are popping up, honestly, surprises me. Like, wow, for parliament, well, but that's the beauty of democracy. Let them try it. At least at the parliamentary level, the more forms that are picked up at the constituency, it means more money in the kitty for that constituency. So if 10 people want to pick, let them go ahead and pick. But we are also saying that, my brother and Anna, that picking the form, and Sir John knows that picking the form is not an end in itself. You must go through this process of securing signatures. After that, even if you file, there's a vetting process. And that is where the guidelines are put down vis-a-vis your application form. And then it's after you have gone through vetting that you are actually a candidate on the ticket of the NDC. So at this early stages where a lot of excitement is popping up, and especially with social media, all kinds of fake pictures are coming up. As executives, at that level, honestly, we are just watching. But at the presidential level where it is very key.
You are not watching.
That one, we have watched.
But see, let me say something. 2016 is going to be the mother of all elections. And they know, especially their young guys out there know, that the only way to secure yourself is to perhaps to fight for a parliamentary seat. Because they know that they are going to lose the 2016 elections. And they don't want to be redundant, as it were. Which is why that clamor. That is why that scramble, as it were, for seats. And that is what it is as simple as that. Kwaku shouldn't be surprised at all. He knows that they will lose the 2016 elections, but then these boys want to secure themselves.
Even Nanado says it's going to be difficult. Well, how can we be so sure that they're going to lose?
Ghanaians won't change. We are not complacent. But I'm telling you, Ghanaians won't change, and they change around Nana Akufo-Addo to lead and then to win them power. Look, all the opposition parties won't change. Look, in Buhari's time, you know what? I think it was just about some few days to the elections that they were able to, the opposition parties were able to come around and to unite around him, that they were prepared to allow him even to lead them. You understand? But in spite of that, in spite of all the challenges, getting so many people coming here from left, right, and center, fighting, a tough war, who was to lead them. In spite of that, they went on to win the elections. Look, this is only, a storm in the teacup. No. We are going to get over this. And Nana Akufo-Addo is committed to that, and he had the party support, for him. My worry is this, that, and I'm happy that when he gave that instruction that we should all stop discussing these matters, indeed we had heeded that call, and that is a show of leadership, at that level. And I'm very happy that you say, look, we will allow Kwaku and others to talk about it. It will not get them nowhere, because even if you talk, we will not respond. And then that's it. You wished that we were fighting, but God is on our side. All these would end by today, tonight. And I can tell you that with that kind of leadership that we have, where Ghanaians want him, and the people of this country are yearning for his leadership.
How much of a low blow is it for your General Secretary to lament like that? Yeah. How much of a low blow is it for the party?
I don't know whether it's a blow or whether it's a low one. But whether it's a low blow or whether it was a blow which was low or high, what I'm interested in is the fact that we have, the Rise and Build tour to undertake. And that is what Ghanaians are interested in. That's what they are focused on. And so, the whole of 3 days and today, tomorrow,
what are you building
you understand? To all the things that I have seen and heard are that people support that call and people are ready to rise and build. I mean,
there's no foundation.
We'll get them all to support that call, because it is in their interest that we change John Mahama in 2016. So they would all come around to join us to to effect that change. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy for Nana Akufo-Addo doing very well. But I can tell you, whatever bitterness that is being exhibited this morning, on the reflection, I believe that Kwabena would come round and to say that
he'll come round.
Oh, but no.
You're speaking English.
No.
He'll come round.
No, I'm talking in terms of...
He's gone off.
No, in terms of the things that he has said.
He's gone off.
Of course, the man is angry. You could see. You have told me. Yes. You have told me that he's angry, isn't it?
He's gone off.
Yes, you told me he's angry. And if you are, angry, and then the water, falls onto it, you come down.
Cool down. Let me give last word. Let me give the last word to Kwabena.
I'm happy for Kwabena.
Last word. All I want to say is that
I'm happy for Kwabena, and I think
I am very comfortable.
We are doing well.
United under the umbrella, rain or shine, I'm having my protection and my shade.
I
don't want to ride the elephant into the bush. Those are my life's words. I prefer to be under the umbrella, rain or shine, united, than ride the elephant into the bush.
Well, all too soon. There's never going to be enough time to talk about this subject, is it? But all too soon, the time is up. I want to say thank you very much to this gentleman who rushed here for God and country to honor this invitation. We're very grateful.
And thanks to your hard-working colleagues, Evans and Elvis and Co.
Evans, Elvis, Malik, Aisha, Ibrahim on the background, and Azalu directing me and telling me to get off the screen because he's getting his time back. Well, but thank you very much. I'm happy for Nekufado. I called we are all happy for him. Folks, say thank you to Tantiz who makes my shirts. And you can get Tantiz on 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. Call Tantiz and get yourself a nice made in Ghana shirt. Why not? But tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you very much for watching.
Is it from China?